Good morning. One of the very things that I'm concerned with the most is how vegans seem like they're so disconnected with nature and reality based on their own agenda and ideology. They actually have no idea what's going on. And when somebody like Vegan Gains or Freely the Banana Girl, the psychopaths of the vegan world come forward, or Mick the Vegan, or this, what's the guy's name? Edward Winters, which is really Edward Gaunt, come forward and become the face of veganism. And then these psychotic doctors like Dr. Joel Kahn and Dr. Fartface, it just becomes more apparent to me that veganism looks more disgusting and more sick as it passes. The more we find that we look at medical studies that talk about veganism and the things that they recommend and eat, the more I find it just doesn't make any sense. Every single answer to why a vegan fails on a vegan diet, you see these other vegans step forward and say, oh, they need to eat more, they need to eat more, they didn't eat enough calories. And it's like, bro, I just ate like 15 cups of vegetables today and 4 bananas and all this other, and I'm gorged myself with fruits and vegetables, and you're still telling me that's not enough? The answer is I need to eat more calories. The problem is you're not eating enough nutrient-dense foods. These are foods that are not bioavailable in nutrients. These are foods that have simple sugars that just tear you up. They have sugars that mimic high fructose corn syrup and stuff like that in them. These are not bioavailable nutrients. When you have to consume something that has to be broken down 2 and 3 times to convert into something that your body can use, you're not eating a very well human species appropriate diet. This is not what we were meant to eat. I just don't get where this whole brainwashing comes from. And then the fact that they talk about more animals die on a carnivore diet is ridiculous. It makes no sense. One cow can feed me for almost 2 years or more when I'm killing so many more animals in order to get the very fruits and vegetables they claim that I need or I should be eating. It's crazy. It just happened not too long ago. We had vegan parents feeding their child a vegan diet and the child died. And then last year, the ones that got convicted of malnourishment, their child went to DCFS, and now they're with a family that's actually caring for the child, but the child's body is so messed up on a vegan diet that it's growing way too fast because it doesn't know how to process all the nutrients and stuff that it's actually getting from better food. This whole thing is so far out of whack, and now we have this aga in America where, look at her child.
Soeba is 1 year old and critically malnourished. In her home village, the crops failed due to lack of rain, and now there's no food left. Her mother brought her to a concern-supported clinic in Tawa, Niger, where doctors face a fight to save her life. Across the Sahel, there are...
I once went on Happy Healthy Vegans channel during one of the live chats, and I'd asked Ryan if he supported vegan keto. There's no animal products involved. And Ryan said absolutely not. He would never support something like that. The problem is, unless you're doing something that these vegans want you to do, the control aspect isn't there. And a lot of times, no matter what you do, they're not happy enough. It's like everybody has to be the same in their eyes, or nothing's good enough for them. He didn't support saturated fat coming from coconuts, which didn't make any sense to me, and I tried many times calling him out after that, and he never responded to it. Or what about the constant abuse of Vegan Gains and his playfulness, or whatever you want to call it, black satire, as he says, when he talks about, killing babies because they're so annoying to him, and how he pulls out guns on screen and stuff like that when he's trying to show off, and whatever it may be. It's always the extreme with them. It's always the ideology-based bullshit with them that they just can't get past. We have to do what they do the way they do it, or else it's just not good enough. Or what about Dr. Garth Davis when he's doing the review on another vegan's blood work, and her LDL was very low, like down to 80, and her HDL I think was like in the 50s or something like that. Her triglycerides were 260 or something that it was really high in the 200s, and he's telling this girl she's completely fine, she's healthy. And then when you look at one of her other markers, it was either her EGR or CRP levels, the inflammatory markers were up, but again, he's telling her she's completely healthy. These vegan doctors are just as goofy as the vegans themselves are. We can look at the most recent event where we had that vegan guy that opened the restaurant over in the UK, Veg Heads, Matt Pryor, contact my employer to let him know what I do in my free time online. Like, are you serious? Do you really go that far to get involved in somebody else's life? Where you go creep their social media profiles just so you can find out information on them and then report it to the employer because you don't like what they do or you don't support what they do? I mean, how far is too far? I mean, we see this every single day with these people, yet more people aren't coming forward to say something about it. This diet that they're on is literally destroying them and making them go psychotic. Now we have the craziness of Greta Thunberg getting put up in front of the world to see in her crazy activism for climate change and all this other stuff. And, you know, it's all crazy. Another vegan, another PETA follower. What I don't get is why people put so much effort into these people and they're already batshit crazy. And yet these vegans just get to roam rampant, and it seems to be thought of as the norm now, and it's really, really sad.
I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Meatless diets are actually far worse for the environment than the regular meat-filled diets. They increase emissions, they increase energy use, they increase water use. But none of that matters because the climate hysteria movement is not about science. If it were about science, it would be led by scientists rather than by politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child who is being exploited by her parents and by the international left.
These numbers are too uncomfortable, and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is. You are failing us, but the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you.
She's trying to do what she thinks is right. And by the way, now relax, skinny boy. I got this, okay? You're attacking a child. You're a grown man. Have some cool.
I'm not. I'm attacking the left for exploiting a mentally ill child.
Maybe on your podcast, you get away and say whatever you want because nobody's listening. You're on national television. Be a grown-up when you're talking about children.
We will not let you get away with this. The world is waking up. And change is coming whether you like it or not.
Anyone else find that chilling?
A time of tribulation has come. A test is at hand.
I can't wait for Stephen King's sequel, Children of the Climate.
There's reports now in Europe where kids are getting anti-anxiety medication. They believe they're going to die. She is the Greta effect. She's causing and instilling fear in millions of kids around the world and actually has them believing that government can legislate.
All I'm getting at here, guys, is we got a problem. And the answer is not veganism. It's this cult-like mentality, this George Soros is following this liberal leftist push to basically control the entire world, to just keep everybody sick, keep them in Big Pharma's pocket, keep them basically relying on, you know, the liberal standpoint in life in general. Rely on me, come need me, medical insurance, you have to be dependent on everybody. And it all ties into it. It's all one big giant push, and it just isn't getting any better at all. And it's sickening. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. But I know a lot of it is the hippie hugger liberals that are pushing this, and it really sucks. And, you know, if you're a democratic person and you're following me, and you don't follow that type of view, then I apologize. This is not geared towards you. This is geared towards the people that exactly fits that role. So if you feel offended by it, then that's your problem, not mine. Anyway, I hope this changes. I hope we fight for individuals' rights and to stop this malnourishing life that this vegan push and this movement is. You know, they're desperate right now. They're falling apart, and people are starting to see it all over the world. And, you know, this people like Greta Thunberg popping up, George Soros paid puppets, and that's just where this is going. And they're just desperate. And hopefully it falls apart soon so we don't have to keep seeing more children getting sick, more people like Rob Bliss ending up in the hospital, malnourished. He looks like he's dying. Just fight for what you believe in, guys.